Welcome into another episode of Farming Simulator 25 with me, the midlife Simster. Thanks for joining me again on Hutan Pantai. So here we are now into August, finished off those two contracts. It took much longer than I expected. Was working into almost kind of 11 o'clock, I think it was on the game clock. So in the dark, which was a lot of fun, but £107,000 now in the bank, which is great. So we got a bit of work to do, really. I need to make a solid decision on what we're going to do with these fields, because in my mind it was extend this field, probably then go with like a soybean crop in there, and then keep these two as the oat fields. But then it depends on what productions we want to run. I think this year now, because we're coming up now on 1 year in game time, or we are at 1 year game time, so I think it's just keep it simple. I'll probably stick with that and then worry about the kind of impact it's going to have on wheat for their productions. So I may just retain all the wheat we've just harvested just so we can keep this thing running. Obviously we've got all these guys to sort out as well, which is great. The wood is generating over there, so there's money to be taken from that. The rice is going to need sorting sooner rather than later. Wowzers, it's ready now. I didn't realise. Aye, aye, aye. Right, okay. So we got to harvest that as well to see what we get. When's the best price for rice though? Is it this month or next month? If it's next month, I'd be tempted to leave it another month. Best price apparently is 3462. However, we're already running at 35 at the cannon factory. That's our, and preserved food factory, my own preserved food factory, that is. Interesting. Well, it's going to go up again, so it's on the way down at the moment. Let's leave it in the fields. Let's get everything else done first. I think it's probably the best way to go about this. Let's just check the productions that need water. That's got plenty. That's got under half now, but plenty for the time being. That's got plenty. You've got some eggs and flour in you, which is good, and you've got 5,000 litres of wood. So again, that's going to need topping up sooner rather than later. I did the eggs off camera because it's obviously, it started the game at just 8 o'clock game time. We need to collect the bales, so let's get on with that. Things I've purchased over in the store. Got the weight on the back of this, and I also picked up the bale spike, only because I never use them. I normally cheat and use the forks, but the issues we've been having with the forks, I just figured, let's try something new. So I'm quite keen to do that on this series, where I just try some of the things that I don't normally do or bother to do. I would like, don't run into those, I would like to ideally have put down, there's a mod now for console. What's going on here? Oh dear. Well, that's not very good, guys. There's a mod that's come out for console at the moment, which is a bale spot, which so you can just drop them off or stacks then the bales at location. I did have a little look. Oh, look, that's not going to work for us. I did have a little look to see if I could work out somewhere that would be useful for us to put it on this map on the farm at the moment. I couldn't really find anywhere without sacrificing land that I didn't want to sacrifice. So we haven't really got masses of many bales. So I'm hoping. It's not realistic, I know, because you wouldn't leave them out, especially in the winter, because we're not going to be using these for a long time. We've got no animals to share them with. Apologies if you can hear me kind of like, I'm a bit full up today, so I'm swallowing and sound minging, so hopefully it's not horrific on the audio. Yeah, so I don't like it, but they're going to have to live here, because I just don't know what else we could really do with them. It's actually I fully appreciate it's not ideal, and you and you wouldn't do this in reality because you wouldn't leave them exposed to the weather. But right now we haven't got any sheds, so we're struggling really in terms of choice. These guys have caused themselves quite the mischief here, haven't they? As he says, getting hung up on a bush. So yeah, quite a lot to get on with. Really short episode last one time around. Only did a 30-minute recording. Didn't realise it was going to be that short. It wasn't deliberate, but then subconsciously it potentially was related to the fact I was getting quite annoyed with the game, especially that whole crashing thing. So I haven't watched Mr. Sealy P's live feed from the other week yet, where he and obviously a lot of people are online talking about it. I just haven't had the chance. I've been watching too many of the playthrough series, his and Dagowin's, so to be looking at the to have had the chance to really look at that properly. I might try and do it tonight because we're going away for the evening, and normally by sort of I'm a much later, I don't need as much sleep as my other half, so when she falls asleep I'll be watching something on the iPad, so maybe I'll watch that then. But I'd be intrigued to see what they're saying on there, because there are some things that are really starting to frustrate me about this game. And to be clear, I love it. I think, you don't not like a game when you've already put, I think I put in just on this map alone 22 real-time hours, was it? As it said as I loaded up. So, I really do like it. I like the addition of some of the crops that we've seen. I like some of the new mechanics. I really like the GPS stuff. There's some really, really good additions. What I don't like, I should really take the trailer down. There's more bales down there than I realised, but we just haven't got when you look at the size of our bale, like our trailer, what's the point? And I'd have to take that one over to get it converted, so I may as well just go back and forth, I suppose. There are a lot of issues, and I know no game comes out without a teething issue. We touched on this in the last episode. So I was kind of thinking about what is it I don't like the most? What are the sort of prime issues that I've got with the game? And certainly, it's got to be mod related at the moment. The first kind of, I don't know, week or so I had the game. Right, I've messed that up, haven't I? Because this is the problem when I talk. I'm incapable of actually doing then what I'm trying to do in the first place. That is really stuck on there. Right, okay. Yeah, the first week after buying the game, I'm pretty sure I didn't have a crash. And then most of the mods, no problem at all. And I'm just wondering, because all I did was do the Giants mods, but then I've downloaded the bale. That is just stuck on. Right, okay, let's try something. No, I need more of an angle than that, aren't I? This is not going well, is it? If I can angle it, hook it. No. There we go. There we go. There we go. Come on. There we go. Yes. Right. Just a tiny bit, please. I've forgotten what my train of thought was now. Yeah, so I wonder if maybe the mod that I've downloaded is causing part of the issue with it. It would certainly seem that way, which then is, you can have an argument as to, well, who's to blame for that? Is that a Giants issue? Is that a mod creators issue that you get in that conflict? I know when we had Bally Springs come out on 22, the amount of issues, there's seemingly just a couple of mods that were having like a collision with things. So, I don't pretend to understand that modding community enough to understand the difficulties that there must be in making sure that your mod doesn't cause an issue with the other mods that are in existence. If this is going to, how long it's going to take me to do, just put 2 bales there, we're going to be here all day. Lordy lord, I wanted them sat down, but that's abysmal, isn't it? Okay. Maybe the next two I'll push and then try and put them on top. So yeah, so the game crashing is infuriating, because I really don't like having the autosave, because especially if you're going to do anything sort of remotely creative and have a look to see, because it is so jittery when you try and place buildings and stuff, and you have then the kind of land reaction to whatever you've placed. It can be really, really ugly, and it's then you clearly, you know, it looks like it's going to work, and then all of a sudden you place the building, there's a huge drop off on the ramp, even though it was only going to cost you an extra, like, you know, £5 in terrain fees and stuff, so you'd have thought it would have been minimal. So you want to restart. Now if you've got the autosave on and you're unfortunate enough that you're perfectly timing that, then where you go back in to reload the game and it saves it at that point, you're stuck with that building that you've just placed. So I don't like running the autosave. I like sort of my own time just saving the game as and when I feel like saving it, and remembering to save it. So the crashes need to be resolved, and I don't know what's causing them, whether it's the mods. I thought this weight would be enough for carrying these two bales, but obviously these bales are massive. What are they actually, out of interest? How many? 11,000 litres of straw, with only 460 kilos each. Okay. Now then, can I get that one off there? Line this one up a little bit better. Use this then to push these back. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. God. Give me an autoloader. Now, I fully expected these to be able to just drop off. There you go, there you go, there you go. Yes! Excellent. And again, my friends, off you go. That's what I'm talking about. Don't get me wrong, this is not going to be pretty. My skill sets do not lie. Well, many places within this game, but certainly not in bale stacking. But they'll get the job done on it, so that is a very bumpy yard, isn't it? So yeah, the game crashing is, I find, really infuriating, and I'm hoping that that sort of resolves itself over time. Collisions, again, I guess it comes with testing, and until they kind of start getting their feedback, you know, it's probably not going to get much better. It's going to take a while, but and I've just got to be a little bit better. But I haven't changed the style, the way I play the game, and you know that clearly the way I use the forks is I use them so that I know when they're on the floor by digging them into the floor. And I would expect then the physics of the game to understand. That needs to be straightened out again now. Yeah, I'd expect the physics of the game to understand that the collision is there then for that purpose. But at the moment, I've been caught out several times in several different locations with those forks. So that's quite frustrating. I think the graphics on one hand are very good, and on another hand are quite poor. Like, some of the textures I really like, and I like the look of, and I like the sort of dynamic, like, changes in certain things. But when you're harvesting the field, it's really, really blotchy, and like the draw distances seem a little bit all over the place, especially on console compared to PC. I was just thinking that, actually. I wonder. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. Right, so I don't think there's any additional. Like, you can't like run it higher or lower, can you, on the console? No. Okay. So yeah, like, and you get these kind of random little squares, and like, you know, that's the circle. So you can see it there coming across the crop field to our right. It's like I'll zoom out a bit more. You won't see it then. Oh, you can. There it goes. There it goes. It's just weird. Like, it shouldn't be that it's only really detailed to that point there. Like, you know, you're talking like 30 foot past the tractor. That detail should be all the way in the screen at the moment, and then as it fades out, maybe halfway across the field. Not, you know, a matter of feet away from me. So that's a little disappointing as well. And that to me, and again, I don't know enough about game design and stuff like that, but that to me feels like something that should have, like, you know, should have been resolved for release. That is as nice as it's going to get on the right there. Lordy, happy days. I would try and take 3, but you know what's going to happen. I'm just going to tip in the tractor and spending more time dealing with trying to take 3 than just by taking 2 and going back and getting the others. And I'm assuming, again, I know everyone's going absolutely wild online about the frames per second issue, and console running at 30 frames per second. So I can only assume that then relates to, like, look at that draw distance there. Just, it's only across half the field, you know. I can only assume that that's going to be playing a factor in everything as well. So I haven't seen much about people saying that, you know, what Giants have said that is going to be in the next patch and stuff, what repairs they're going to be making to things. So that would needs to be sort of better published. And I don't know, I don't pretend that I follow them avidly and I'm, you know, on the forums or anything like that, so I don't know what has been said in any sort of official terms. So, you know, you don't take my word for this by any means, but like, some people just are saying about them, like, they feel like they're kind of digging their head in the sand a little bit and just kind of ignoring the issues that are being raised by people. And if that's the case, then, you know, that's quite frustrating. When you spend as much as, you know, people spent, myself included, on the early release, you got the Game Pass, you know, you're paying for the full hit. You know, the best part of whatever it was, like 80, 90 pounds. I can't remember what it was now, but it's certainly not cheap. In my mind, it might be more, but you kind of, you know, I expect it to be a decent quality. I don't. No, don't be silly. Let's just drop them off on the bottom here. Ah. Come on. There you go. Don't throw them in the air. Eesh. I think, what have we got? 2 more? So yeah, so when you spend that sort of money for the release and things, and these issues are so prominent, it's quite frustrating, you know. So I do get why people aren't happy, but that said, I do love the game. I'm a Farming Simulator fan anyway, so I'm probably going to be a bit biased and love the game, but I really do love it. There are features in here that are excellent. The animal features for the pens, where you can design your own pen, and it works going uphill and, you know, leaving the trees and stuff in the pen and things like that. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Could be a bit more polished. Could have like a gate option, because if you, let's say we go and chop a load of trees down and then we build the new animal pasture, all of a sudden then that's going to remove all the original rendering this like the forest ground or whatever it's going to be classed as. That's not really on, is it? And replace it with a pasture grass, which is great. But what it then does is it'll highlight the stumps that you've left in there, or you've maybe missed because, you know, they're quite difficult to see. You then can't get back into that pasture to remove the stump, and you've just got this horrific eyesore in the middle of your pasture. So if you just had a gate option on everything, maybe I'm missing it. Maybe there is a gate option when you're building it, but I don't remember spotting it when I thought I looked for it. But I will recheck that, because we are going to put animals on this map, so I'll have to try and make a note to myself to have a little look at that and see if we get the option. But I'm pretty sure there's no gate. So, like, you know, it lets itself down there in little ways, you know. Console, I'm pretty sure we're still at the same level of amount of storage that we can have for the mods, which is initially fine, but within a year or two, if that, within a month or two probably, really, when the maps all start coming out, that quickly runs out. Just that one. And then you are, you know, you're only running a couple of maps at a time, so you've got to really plan which map you're going to be playing and things. It doesn't like that. I thought it was going to have a little moment then. You would just get level. Alright, let's just nudge you, and that should drop him. There we go. There we go. Look at that. Nice. What do you think, bud? Just watching me walk around, you weirdo. We got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 bales. 11,000 litres of bale. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. That is a lot of straw. Let's have a look here. So we'd be looking at 12 times 11,000, so it gives us 132. The cost obviously of straw is pennies, but we'll have a look nonetheless. £144 is the best price we could ever get for those. So £19,000 worth of straw there. So good start at least. So it gives us the options down the line. We can shred them if we need to, if we're going to use a barn, things like that. So pretty happy with that. Here's something else I get an eye, but you can't easily see what vehicles you've got on hire versus what vehicles you own. That's ridiculous. I don't like this new vehicle screen. I got to be honest, the owned vehicle screen, I much prefer the old system. So we got a leasing on the plough. I leased anything else? Did I? Oh, I am releasing our trailer each. I don't know. I may as well buy that at this point. Then again, it's only, you know, it's only 330 quid a month, isn't it? No, I'm desperate. I really want the telehandler. And the more I think about it, I think that needs to be our next purchase, because that'll give us the wood then to be cutting away, but we can also then start looking at animal options in there. So I'm quite keen on that. And if these are better crops, I'd probably focus on these, but they need special machinery or different headers, things like that. The only other one would be that, because we could put a grass field there, and it does give us a slight bit of forestry that we can cut away at. Because where would be the line on it? So roughly, basically parallel to the road. So there's quite a bit of forestry land in there. It's going to be sort of there, maybe? Thereabouts. That line? Yeah, so still, I'm still within it. So you got all of that. There's an argument then, you know, if we're using that for grass, we could easily put a pasture down here. That's giving me food for thought, isn't it? 178,000 compared to 164, 6.76. So just slightly more acreage. It's just whether it's more friendly to what we're trying to do. A cracking grass field, that's for sure. Could extend that as well. It's just wasteful, isn't it, there? I could bring the pen this end. So at least it's close to the farm. And then you bring in your animals into this sort of land. You could even, I mean, you could even extend that field. I think that might be... I think that's what we need to aim for. Valtra owns it as well. Okay. That might be the plan if we can get selling stuff. Right, okay, so that's done. I'm not gonna mulch these. We're just gonna get on with the stuff that we need to do. None of them need liming because we did all the liming last year. None of them need ploughing. We did that before. 26 will need ploughing if we buy that. They'll need fertilizing. 27 and 28 are gonna need a fertilizer state. Okay, and then they'll have their second. I mean, they'll get a fertilizer state when we seed them again, and then we can then put a fertilizer state on top. Is probably the easier way of doing it. They're full of weeds at the moment, so we'd have to sort that muck out. But we can. I'm assuming that'll get resolved when we cultivate it. I think. Right. Okay. So next job then is extending the big field. Let's get on with that because this thing's rented, so we need to make hay while the sun shines. The produce and stuff collection, I can do all that off camera. I'm not gonna kind of bring you, like, make you guys watch that lifetime, and I'll fast cut this as well once we get started on it. This is an example of one of those times, however, I am going to save the game before we start doing anything because I'm not the best at this sort of thing, so we want to make sure we've got a base to fall back on. Question is how far up do we want it to go? I guess it roughly... Oh, we could bring it pretty much up to the path, couldn't we? May as well make the most of the space. Right, so let's have a look. Yeah, allow create fields. Drop the plough down. Let's get going. Well, that felt like considerably harder work than I expected it to be. Not my my finest work either, to be fair. Why is this not doing what I want it to do? Why won't it fold back in? Oh, there we are. So it's got to be on that side, and then you got to fold it back. How bizarre. Right, so hopefully... I should have actually done this really before coming away from the field, shouldn't I? So if we have a little look at our new field... Beautiful. Not the nicest line in the world. Probably could have stolen a bit more there, but hey-ho. I like that little feature over there. The fertilizing state is interesting, that ploughing it gives it a fertilized state, but it doesn't really matter when we come to plant. It'll give it a fertilizer, and then we'll put the solid fertilizer on top, so that's fine. So if we, and I gotta remember now, anything in the sale? No. We're hiring this at the moment, but I'm going to keep it because now that we can harvest this rice, I'm going to be able to transfer and extend this field as well, which is good. It's kind of a shame that this production is here, because we could steal... We could really... bring the field all the way out there, but I don't... It does annoy me. I'm going to think about that. I'm going to think about that and maybe taking the hit, but it's such... I mean... Oh... 20% of basically everything we own just to put the same thing back somewhere else. Or do we just kind of get up as close as we can to it and until we're rolling in money, leave it be? Tricky. So rice bags we could start putting... I've read online, or I've seen on one of the playthroughs, I think it must have been Daggerwinds, that the rice bags aren't actually that valuable and you make a loss off them. Which, if that's the case, what's the point in running the rice bags through that production, really? We may not bother doing that. However, when do we replant the rice? Was it like April time? Yeah, April for long grain and normal. You could even go into May for normal. Cool, okay. So, let's have a little look here. Turn on the harvester. Oh my word. Look at that, mate. Oh, I'm having a mare here. Stop pressing buttons. Right, I'm just going to turn it on to... We want one or two. It does make it a bit easier with two, I think, probably. Cool. Off we go. Okay, so not bad. Not a bad little start. Dump all that in there. We're not going to sell it today. May not even sell it at all. I am really torn. I'm going to do a bit of researching into it. I may take that rice back out of there and put it into the tin factory and just see what happens with those rice cakes and then sell the other 2 fields of rice. We've got a lot of produce now to start moving around, of which you don't need to see me horrifically trying to balance things. The only thing to consider really is the prices of things. So, for example, let's have a look here. If we've got some lettuce on the go, you know, it's right at its lowest at the moment. The chili peppers are probably going to be the same. Is it like sort of January, February time? Yeah, January, 300 quid. So
I think it's more about getting this stuff out of the way, as much as selling it. And then I think we need to just kind of get through the year doing these contracts, getting the fields kind of prepped and ready. And then come January, hopefully make a bit of a killing on everything. And that's then maybe when we could look to buy either more fields or do something with the animals. I'm really, really keen to do something with this space over here. Like we talked about previously, this will then open up the logging options for us with all the trees. But in terms of the animals, you could then look to do the pasture, the open summer months, and out there in that sort of area here. And then come the winter, once we've got enough money, bring them back in field, and it's then where you just develop this, you kind of take this field over. I'm more keen to do this one, just because of the simple size of it, but a little bit of food for thought there. So, gonna move the machinery around, gonna get rid of these pallets up, getting them out of the way somewhere else, and make a decision on the rice.
Okay, so a few things going on since the snap cut. As you can see, still got the 3 red dots of doom. The reason I've left that on there is because there's been an update on the game, which is really good, and there's some really good stuff to talk about. However, that obviously is... Oops, a daisy, sorry. Right, where are we? Into the tractors, and that's how I get rid of the dots. So, off camera, I've been up to... Where do we go? Up to the restaurant, dropped off the kimchi and a few bits and bobs. That was great. Got a couple of quid for that. Tidied up some stuff, moved some things around. Our truck that we need is over here. I am going to take that into that parking space, drop the sides down on that, so that we can then use it to move... Whoa! Ah, now that is interesting. Oh no, I've got to take some getting used to. Oh no. So we may as well talk about it now. One of the updates within the game is to the steering. So let's just check this. Nothing weird's going to happen here. Cool. And they did say it was speed related, so clearly I'm gonna have to, it's gonna take a bit of... Oh, that's so slow to respond. What? Oh, I'm gonna have a nightmare. Aye. The whole list is available online to see what they've done. They've done a fair bit of it, to be, to give them a bit of credit where it's due. They've addressed a lot of issues, some of the vehicles spawning without... That crop is really cool. How have I not noticed that crop before? When it's this tall. Nice. Yeah, like things like vehicles spawning without tyres. I'm pretty sure I kept it in, and I think it was the last episode where we did the contract and we did a load of ploughing, or I did a load of ploughing off camera, and the back tracks of the tractor were missing. So things like that have been addressed. One of the big complaints, you couldn't pat the dog. That's allegedly been resolved, so we may have to get a dog in this series. Oh, no. Oh, this steering is going to take some serious getting used to. Blimey. Frame, I don't know if the frame rate has been dealt with. Apparently drawing distances have been adjusted. Now, it's hard to tell if that's console or PC, or basically all platforms sort of thing. So, allegedly some of the textures have been dealt with, some of the issues around, I think, like mulching and like states of fields and percentages. Oh, these steering controls are unbelievable. So that, look at that. It's like the minute that full lock is on, it takes so long to bring the wheel back. I wonder if... I don't know. I'll have to have a little play with that off camera. See, I mean, I'm oversteering into everything. Lordy, lordy, lord. Right, so plan is basically going to get as much of this wood on board, get that up to the temple where the cost, so the price is still at its best. All the produce by here, no point getting rid of it at the moment because its best time to sell is January, so we'll just have to put that to one side somewhere. And then, as I mentioned, we've still got the consideration of what to do. The game also, I should mention, I got this far previously, and once again, I've had to restart and sort of catch up with what I've done, because where I went to tip this thing over, that was fine, got that on the tractor, went over here to grab these pallets, the pallets got stuck in here, threw my tractor up into the air, tractor came back down and landed on its side, pallet was with it, and then as I've touched the control, it's then launched the pallet into the air and the pallet's gone. Just like forevermore. So who knows where that went. So I just had to restart because there was no way I was losing several £1,000s because of a collision. So I'll be intrigued to see how this goes and if I can actually make it work without it crashing, which would be really, really nice, and without things kind of getting stuck in the floor. But I think we'll do a lot of that off camera, and then the next episode will be looking to run a lot of it up to the temple because we haven't been up there yet. But if you have enjoyed this episode, then please do consider giving it a like and a subscribe so I can see what's working for the viewers. Any thoughts you have, please feel free to leave them in the comments. I will respond to you, and until next time, be happy, stay safe, and we'll speak again soon. Take care.